Today I'm doing a reaction to the video by Mario Tomic called My Top 6 Rules for Muscle Building and Doing It Naturally. As I am a natural lifter, this would be good for me to take a look at and see if I agree with his points, so let's jump right into it.
Rule number 1, make sure you're training with a variety of different repetition ranges.
So for his point number 1, he goes over that you need to be working out with a variety of rep ranges. Now for me, over my years, have I done this? Yes. As I've gotten older though, I've actually gone away from doing things like strength, hypertrophy, and endurance sets, even though it's a big part of the NASM. I am a certified trainer with NASM. That's a big part of their model, but I just don't feel like for me, I really need it at this point. Sure, you can do this in the stimulus after changing it up because you do it one version for a while and then change it up later to do another one, may help you build more muscle because your body now has to adapt to that new stimulus. However, I've found that as long as you provide enough stimulus in your work, currently, you really don't need to change it up all that often. You can go a pretty long time as long as you're still feeling like you're getting stronger and seeing gains. Just keep going with what you're doing. The more you keep changing things up, the more it gets harder to track, and that's where you start to fall off. So yes, this can help you, but don't do it too early. And I like to actually do things like start with a lower range, like maybe like 5, and then work my way up to getting 10 reps. So something like that, where I just do a scheme like that and then repeat over and over and over again, and then maybe change up an exercise if I feel like I'm getting bored or stuck or plateauing on that specific one. So this can work. I feel like it's one of the points you don't need to do as much, but it's something that may help you in your training.
Rule number 2, master your exercises first.
Alright, and rule number 2 is that you need to master your exercises first. And I can't agree more. You need to make sure, especially with those basic exercises, and the primary ones I do, I really actually just focus on the basic lifts and occasionally change things up. I really don't try anything very fancy because the basic main lifts are the ones that build your foundation and put on the majority of the muscle size, especially again when starting out as someone new. You only need to get into advanced rep schemes if you find like you plateau, but it really doesn't need to be like advanced exercises. It can just be some type of maybe like a drop set or superset or something like that that changes up your exercise overall. It doesn't have to be these crazy, even dangerous exercises you see on something like Instagram, TikTok, or one of the other major social media outlets right now. Master the basic exercises, get better at them, progress or use progressive overload to, again, improve yourself with those exercises, and you will see results in the long run. Again, of course, you have to have everything in place, like your sleep and nutrition, but as long as all that's in place and you're just really getting good at the main basic exercises and knowing the technique perfectly for each one and doing them well, you are going to see better results than 99% of the people out there, I'm telling you right now.
Third rule is tracking your muscle growth.
His rule number 3 is that you should be tracking your muscle growth. Now, if you're someone new, sure, you can get out like the tape measure or whatever you want to do your measuring with and track your progress. I personally do it because I'm trying to get to my, what you call the golden or Adonis ratio. I really like to see how close I can get to those numbers, but I do not track this frequently. It's like maybe once every 3 to 6 months I might take out that tape measure. Maybe if I'm doing something for the channel, I'll do it more often. Like in my April challenge, I was doing measurements just for that specific challenge. But for me, over the last 10-ish years that I've done training, I've rarely measured. All I'm focusing on is getting better at the main lifts, as I covered in point number 2. That, as long as you are getting stronger in some capacity over time, recovering and having proper nutrition, you are going to make gains. Now, your genetics will play a part on how big you can actually get, but everyone can improve from where they are. So I don't really agree with this point too much unless you're someone who really likes to track it and then compare against the things like Adonis or the golden ratio. But this one, to me, is one of the ones you don't really need to be doing.
Rule number 4, extremes almost always come at a cost.
So rule number 4 is that the extremes almost always come at a cost, and I have to agree with them here. When you try and push something very far in one direction, say you want to do like your max lifts, you open yourself up to injury there. Dieting, people like to do these extreme diets and then they find themselves just yo-yoing and not knowing what to do moving forward. It's all about slow, consistent progression. My number 1 rule in my fitness journey is consistency. And then as long as you can apply progressive overload and then improve your habits to be better over time, that is where the gains are made. That's why I've been able to do this for 10 plus years and not stop, where most people don't even last a few months before giving up on fitness entirely. So make sure that you are not being one of these extreme people. I don't do keto, paleo, any of those things. I eat normally. I actually eat pretty poorly, if I have to say so myself, but I still make gains because of the consistent training I do, and then focusing on getting enough protein and then matching in the rest of the macros in there to have a good overall build while working out just from the little office I am in. Nothing that special. It's just doing that over a long period of time. When I see I'm going off track, that's where I bring out the calculator and the macros and all that stuff, figure out what's going on, recalibrate, and then do it again and continue to stay consistent until I see something going off course. But again, consistency is going to be what gets you through years and years of training and actually seeing results down the road.
Rule number 5, lack of goals equals lack of progress.
Rule number 5, we have lack of goals equals lack of progress. And I agree a bit here. I still think consistency, just going and showing up and doing your workout that you have planned, is what you really need to be doing, but I like to have goals as well in my training. Especially when I first started out, my goal was simply just to put on size and muscle. That was it. That was my main goal. I just wanted to look better, feel better, be stronger, play better for my sport. All of those things back in college when I started are all still valid reasons to work out today. However, now that I'm 30, I really don't care about that much really in my training. I still want to be building muscle and looking the best I can, of course. However, I find that I don't need to be doing as much as I did back then and still feel like I'm satisfied with my results. Like back then I was doing crazy amounts of lifting, a lot of eating and all that stuff, but now I've kind of backed off and I still kept all the gains that I had, and I do a lot less work overall to keep it. So that's the one thing about lifting over years. You can actually do a lot less work and keep the gains you had. So once you kind of reach a point where you feel satisfied, you don't have to keep killing yourself. It's really if you want to keep growing and growing and growing, that's where you need to keep pushing harder and harder and harder. So I am looking to still get a little bigger, so I'm still putting in the work now to do that. But my goals aren't as crazy as they used to be when I was a lot younger and trying to figure out what was the best way to do this, the best way to do that. It's more about I've been consistent for a long time. I know how my body kind of works now. This is what I feel works to me. How can I make small improvements to make my life easier, shorten my workouts, whatever it might be, and then get to that end goal, if you want to put it, that I might have. So I agree here with what he's going over. However, I feel like as I get older, it's not as important to actually have a goal rather than just showing up and doing the work. And then every once in a while, you're not going to want to do it. You're going to want to do it other days. So it really depends how you walk in that day. But as long as you're getting the work done, you're going to keep seeing the results for years to come.
Now, rule number 6, and my personal favorite rule, is 1 rep is always better than 0 reps.
And rule number 6 is 1 rep is always better than 0 reps. This goes over pretty much what I've been talking about in the last few points with consistency, and that is just showing up and making sure you get in your reps for that day. And he's saying basically just showing up and doing 1 rep is better than doing nothing at all. So I have to agree with him here. Just showing up, even if you did no reps, honestly, if you just showed up and walked in the room, at least you made the commitment to go into where you're going to be working out, because it just sets up that good habit for you to do it for the long term. It takes years to actually build good physiques, especially if you're someone who's coming from really skinny. Packing on a lot of muscle takes a lot of time. A lot of time to do it. Years of time. Not 3 months, not 6 months. It takes years of work. I'd say minimum of 3 years to really get to maybe your like full, or not even full potential, but just a good physique overall. That's why the people who are like really, really high up there, they're like 5, 10 plus years of training to really have the best physiques of their life. And then of course, age and your genetics play a part there. So it's really, you are just going against yourself. You want to make sure you just show up, do 1 or whatever the reps you are for your program that day, and consistently do it over time to see those long-term results. Alright, and that is all 6 points from Mario Tomic. He has a pretty good channel. Most of it I've seen, it looks like it's mainly geared toward like fat loss, but there's some muscle building stuff in there that I like to enjoy because I don't really go over the muscle, or fat loss, as much, but I really like the building muscle because that's what really gets you that structure and foundation for your overall physique. And if you're really looking to just burn body fat, that all comes down to the calories in, calories out kind of deal. So that's not as much as what I want to cover, but building muscle is where I really focus a lot of my attention, and then try and fill in your habits to get the rest to follow suit. But it was a pretty good video by Mario overall, and I did enjoy it. And he's giving out some good information. I've watched many of his other videos, so I'm not surprised if I did another reaction video in the future, but wanted to pull this one up as I saw it come up in my feed the other day and thought I might react to it as well. So if you did like this video, please make sure that you like and subscribe to GamerBody for more reaction videos just like this one. And if you haven't, make sure you head over to GamerBody.com. There you can check out my current home workout program, all the equipment I own and use, and the information I'm learning from to continue to build muscle and confidence, all from the comfort of home. And that's it. Again, like, subscribe. I'll see you all in the next video. Be fit and game on.